If you listen to this deep dive, you should know everything about this story. Welcome back. Today, we are undertaking what might be our most profoundly detailed investigation yet.
That's putting it lightly.
We're doing a complete, almost forensic tracking of a single class of industrial object. We're going to trace its life from its immaculate engineered birth all the way to its slow, and what you could almost call a narratively complete death.
It's an exercise in material culture, certainly, but I think it's more accurately an exercise in human projection.
Right.
Because we are not looking at a press release about some new tech gadget or, a big geopolitical event. We are tracking the GC28 series corrugated fiberboard container.
A cardboard box.
Essentially, yes. A very specific cardboard box designed by Nippon Containers Company Limited for the very crucial purpose of transporting Shizuoka tangerines.
And when we say tracking, we mean that in the most literal sense possible. Our source material for this is just astonishingly varied.
It really is.
It ranges from the antiseptic language of corporate supply chain documents all the way to the reflective, almost mournful internal monologues of market workers.
And then municipal incident reports about a piece of litter.
A piece of litter. And it all culminates in a full academic analysis on material culture and sociology that somehow ties all of these disparate threads together.
It's incredible. We have names, we have dates, we have specific geographic coordinates, and we even have quantifiable metrics regarding its sinking rate in a pond.
A sinking rate.
A sinking rate. So our mission today is to narrate every single one of those details. We're going to follow this specific line of packaging from its engineered birth in the high-tech confines of Yokohama to its final, profound dissolution almost a full year later in a Tokyo Park pond.
We are committed to extracting every single nugget of knowledge and insight from this stack of paper we have in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
The journey of this one box, or I guess more accurately, this specific series of boxes, it serves as this magnificent lens.
That's a good way to put it.
Because what we're really examining is the overarching theme here. How our own, deeply human anxiety regarding purpose, utility, and ultimately obsolescence.
Right.
How all that gets projected onto the most functional, the most single-use objects that we produce.
We want to know how much story, how much existential weight we can pull from a simple cardboard box.
Let's dive deep into the narrative of the GC28. Okay, let's start at the beginning. The absolute beginning. The moment of creation.
The origin story.
Exactly. We're kicking off with the official corporate announcement. This is our Document 1, the press release.
And it's issued from Yokohama, Japan, on a very specific date, October 15th, 2023. This is the moment the GC28 is formally introduced to the world.
And you can feel the tone of this document immediately. It's pure, it's optimistic, and it's a highly controlled narrative of creation.
Completely. And the release comes from Nippon Containers Company Limited, which is not some small startup. This is an entity of significant gravity in the Japanese economy.
So this isn't just any box company.
Not at all. The company was founded way back in 1955, and the press release makes a point of proudly positioning it as a genuine cornerstone of Japan's industrial supply chain. They are, in a very real sense, foundational.
A cornerstone that specializes, naturally, in corrugated fiberboard packaging.
That's their world.
And their work spans agriculture, which is, where we find our GC28, but it also covers electronics and consumer goods. They are the invisible architecture of commerce.
That's a fantastic way to describe it. They're responsible for ensuring that vast segments of the Japanese economy actually get where they need to go intact. They make modern logistics possible.
So this specific announcement on this specific day, it marks the successful commissioning and the initial deployment of their newest line.
The GC28 series corrugated fiberboard containers.
And the document notes that the first production run, which establishes this new benchmark for them, was completed at their state-of-the-art Yokohama manufacturing plant.
And that detail, state-of-the-art, it's important. It's chosen carefully. It establishes the highest possible quality standard right at the outset. This isn't just a box built efficiently. It's a box built, in their eyes, perfectly.
And the press release is meticulous.
Yeah.
It really focuses on the engineering. It's not just, folded cardboard. It's a highly specific solution to a very specific problem.
Exactly. These containers are explicitly designed for two major goals. First, optimal structural integrity.
Which just means it resists crushing and, the stresses of being handled.
Right, it won't get squashed. And second, efficient space utilization.
So they pack densely. They're trying to maximize every millimeter of space on a pallet or in a truck No wasted air.
None. And the manufacturing process itself is described with what I can only call an engineer's pride. It's a rigorous, fully automated assembly line.
They even list the steps.
They do. Step 1 is precision folding, which dictates the box's geometry. Step 2 is bottom sealing with high adhesion tape.
And that detail, the high adhesion tape, we absolutely have to flag that for later.
Oh, absolutely. It's a crucial detail. And the final step is seamless integration into their high-speed conveyor logistics system.
So that tape, why is it so important?
Well, think about what high adhesion implies. The intent is for a strong, singular use purpose that holds absolutely firm. It's designed to resist any premature separation or compromise. It's meant to be opened once, decisively, and that's it.
So it's engineered for a single perfect journey. It's not meant to be retaped or reused. Its strength is also its limitation.
Precisely. So we have this perfectly engineered object.
What's its destiny? What is its assigned purpose in this world?
Its primary life cycle is defined right here in the document. It's for deployment to agricultural partners in the Shizuoka prefecture.
That's its single noble duty.
To safely transport the highly valuable seasonal harvest of Shizuoka tangerines. That is its entire reason for being.
And the corporate spokesperson, who is quoted directly in Document 1, they really reinforce this very singular, almost sacred focus.
They do. They state their commitment is to providing products that not only meet but exceed the logistical demands of our clients.
So the entire existence of the GC28 series, it's validated by this one goal.
Yes. Ensuring the produce, specifically Shizuoka's renowned tangerines, arrives at market in pristine condition. That's the bar for success. Nothing else matters.
And this first journey is already underway when the press release even hits the wire.
Right. The document confirms that the initial batch of these pristine new boxes is, at that very moment, currently in transit to the Tokyo Central wholesale market.
So that short journey from the high-tech plant in Yokohama through the agricultural harvest in Shizuoka and now hurtling toward this massive, demanding wholesale market in Tokyo that is the sum total of its corporate expectation.
That's his whole life, as far as Nippon Containers is concerned.
But of course, there's the modern necessity, the thing they have to include.
Of course. The corporate sustainability pledge.
Yes. They make sure to note that the GC28 units are manufactured from 100% recycled materials.
And are themselves fully recyclable. This is intended to be a closed loop, a perfect circle of use and reuse.
So after their primary function, the safe delivery of the fruit, they are explicitly intended to enter the standard municipal waste management and recycling stream.
The cycle, from the perspective of Nippon Containers, is clean, it's efficient, and ideally it's complete within a very, very short span of time. Days, maybe?
The press release then concludes with this final confirmation of operational success, emphasizing that the initial activation and deployment of these units have proceeded without incident.
A perfect launch. No problems.
They even provide the contact information -R at nipponcontainers.co.jp and the phone number +81 045 123 4567.
Just in case you have any questions about their operational perfection.
Right. So this is the official, clean, and perfectly executed beginning of the GC28 series. It is born for speed, for utility, and for immediate planned obsolescence via recycling. A perfect short life.
And then, the contrast could not be more stark. We leave that sterile environment of Yokohama's corporate world.
All that clean, precise language.
All of it. And we jump 3 days forward to October 18th, 2023.
Yeah.
We are now inside the sheer, chaotic, operational intensity of the Tokyo Central wholesale market.
And our guide here is Document 2, a report from a trade publication called the Produce Logistics Weekly.
Not exactly a mainstream paper, but for our purposes, it's perfect.
This is where the pristine corporate object encounters the brutal reality of the supply chain.
It's a shock to the system. The context established immediately is that the seasonal influx of Shizuoka tangerines is hitting a preliminary peak.
So the system is just operating at maximum velocity. The report says they're logging efficient turnover.
Which means the GC28 boxes are fulfilling their purpose perfectly, but their lives are now being measured in hours, not months or even weeks.
In this trade publication, it gives us this fascinating granular detail on the actual procedures, the day-to-day reality.
It's all about process. Trucks arrive laden with these immaculate GC28 boxes. They are quickly unloaded, and then the containers are swiftly opened.
And they note the tool used, a utility knife.
A simple utility knife. That corporate engineered perfection, that high adhesion tape we talked about, is undone in a single deliberate slice.
And just like that, its primary purpose is over.
Instantly. The contents, the tangerines, are transferred to display bins. The box's utility is depleted in that one motion, and its fate is decided immediately.
To manage the immense volume of material of just cardboard, a significant portion of the empty fiberboard is immediately fed into an on-site industrial incinerator,
Just gone, burned to manage space.
and the rest are quickly flattened for temporary storage before being sent off for recycling.
This is industrial efficiency in its most raw form. It prioritizes speed and space above absolutely everything else.
But this immense efficiency, this almost violent process of immediate obsolescence, it creates this powerful emotional vacuum.
And the human workers, they have to fill that vacuum with narrative, with story.
This is where we hear from the market veteran Kenji Sato. The reporter notes he spoke on the condition of anonymity. He's been there for over 20 years, seeing thousands and thousands of boxes every single day.
And his observation isn't logistical, it's deeply reflective, almost philosophical.
He describes the boxes arriving tight, stacked high, feeling solid and full. He equates their fullness with their value, with their purpose.
Right. When they're full, they matter.
But the moment the fruit is gone, he says this emotional shift hits him. He says it's like the life goes out of them. They're just empty.
Wow.
He feels the weight of that brevity. He reflects on the long journey they've had just for that.
It's a profound moment of fulfillment that is instantly followed by profound existential obsolescence.
And that is the core human anxiety being projected, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the fear that our own long, arduous journey, our life, culminates only in a brief moment of utility before we are immediately disposed of. Sato sees his own tireless, repetitive labor mirrored in the fate of that box.
But the anthropomorphism, it actually deepens even further with the testimony of another worker, Mariko Tanaka.
Her observations, they veer into the subtly psychological, it's almost eerie.
She noted the continuous noise on the trucks during transit, a kind of rustling, shifting sound, which is normal, you'd think.
You would. But lately, she felt this sound had become almost agitated.
Agitated. What does that even mean for a truck full of boxes?
Exactly. It's the sound of the fibers, the fruit, the tape, all of it shifting under G-forces and vibration on the highway. But she interprets it as a state of feeling.
As if the boxes themselves are restless.
Perhaps sensing their impending end at the market dock, this is the human mind desperately seeking an emotional parallel for what is just a relentless mechanical process.
And it continues. When the conveyor stops after unloading, she notes that the silence that follows feels different.
Not just quiet.
No, not just the absence of noise, but a silence that is pregnant with meaning.
And this deep projection of anxiety culminates in her sentiment regarding the incinerator pile, the ultimate destination for so many of these brand new GC28 units.
She says, you almost don't want to look at the pile waiting its turn.
She understands how ridiculous that feeling is. She even says they're just boxes. But the feeling persists.
Especially, she says, when she sees the ones that deviate from that perfect automated flow. You see the ones that are slightly dented or set aside, and it feels like they're watching.
It's the imperfect ones, the damaged ones, the outliers. Those are the ones that seem to take on personhood in her mind.
The box that is still standing, maybe slightly dented, having dodged the immediate knife and the conveyor belt to the incinerator, it becomes a sentient observer.
It's the survivor effect, projected onto a piece of cardboard.
Of course, the official market management provides a necessary and very different counterpoint.
Oh, of course, Director Hiroshi Yamamoto.
He confirmed in a written statement that operations adhere meticulously to strict Tokyo Metropolitan Government waste management guidelines.
No emotion here.
None. Their focus is purely logistical and functional. Hygiene, efficiency, and speed. Sentiment has absolutely no place in the wholesale market.
And he's got the numbers to back up that efficiency.
He stresses that the rapid processing of produce and packaging is critical to preventing spoilage, which is a significant functional concern.
Which is true.
And on the sustainability side, he confirmed the recycling rate for corrugated fiberboard at the facility is impressively high, over 75%, he says.
And he proudly notes that this is well above the national average. So logistically, ethically, by corporate and municipal standards, the system is performing optimally.
Right. The boxes are used, and the vast majority are recycled. End of story, according to management.
But the trade report, it notes that despite this official reassurance, the market floor is just saturated with these subtle, unspoken narratives.
And this tension is further complicated by the appearance of older, repurposed boxes, The veteran containers, as the report calls them.
Yes, the veteran boxes. They are stained, they're worn, they're bearing labels from completely different industries, stationery, textiles, who knows what else.
They are clearly products that have survived multiple cycles, multiple lives. They've adapted their purpose.
And they stand in stark visual contrast to the bright new single-use tangerine boxes that are just marching inexorably toward the incinerator or the baler.
The trade publication notes that these veteran boxes, they serve as tangible symbols of potential longevity.
They offer a counter-narrative, a different path, a story of survival against the GC-28's engineered disposability.
So the conflict here is crystal clear. Logistics demands speed and replacement.
While the human heart, observing this, yearns for longevity and adapted purpose, the trade report summarizes it perfectly. The life cycle of a packaging unit is purely a matter of logistics, but the human impulse to anthropomorphize persists regardless.
And now we get to the exception that proves the rule.
The one that got away.
The singular GC-28 unit that defied the industrial machine. We are now tracking box number 28B.
And this is detailed for us in Document 3, which is an internal retail log from a place called the Fresh Fruit Emporium in Tokyo's Setagaya Ward.
This is the narrative pivot. Our timeline is October 20, 2023. That's just 2 days after the market peak we just described in the trade report.
A shipment of approximately 50 of these GC-28 boxes arrived at this small store in Setagaya. And the report was filed by Sota Watanabe, who is the assistant manager.
And right away, Watanabe documents the critical deviation from protocol.
At the wholesale market, those boxes would have been immediately slit open and emptied. Done.
But here, standard procedure was halted. Box number 28B was set aside.
Why?
At the request of a regular customer, a Mr. Takashi Kobayashi, who preferred to purchase an entire, unopened box for his household use.
So it was the singular customer decision that saved number 28B from the fate of its 49 companions.
A simple request changed its entire destiny.
Watanabe's initial storage observations are meticulous. They tell us a lot about the atmosphere of this small store.
He notes that box 28B was placed in the back storage area on a concrete floor. And it was resting alongside 2 other GC-28 boxes that had already been emptied of their tangerines.
Its fallen brethren.
Right. And over the next 2 days, those emptied boxes were flattened and efficiently removed for recycling, just as they should have been.
But 28B remained intact, full, standing alone.
And here we find another fascinating confirmation of that subtle rigidity we first heard about.
The thing the workers at the market seemed to sense.
Exactly. On the 3rd day, during the manual flattening of one of the previously emptied boxes, a sibling unit to 28B Watanabe noted in his log that it exhibited unusual rigidity.
So it was hard to crush.
It required additional physical force to collapse.
And did it make a sound?
It did. Upon compression, this empty box emitted a faint rustling sound.
Just like Mariko Tanaka observed at the market, that agitated sound.
Watanabe logged this informally, not as some paranormal event, of course, but as a manufacturing anomaly.
So he's reinforcing the hypothesis that the precision folding and that high adhesion tape used in the GC-28 series created units that were inherently resistant to their planned end.
Even their empty brethren put up a fight.
Amazing.
Then came the formal customer handover. October 23, Watanabe personally delivered the box to Mr. Kobayashi's residence.
He took it himself.
And he noted during the transport that the box felt notably solid and well sealed, with no visible damage. The physical reality was matching the high engineering promise from the press release.
And Mr. Kobayashi, the new custodian of the box, what did he think?
He immediately commented on its robust construction, and he already had plans for the box's future.
A second life.
He noted he intended to reuse it for household storage after he and his family gradually consumed the fruit. This is the first concrete step toward an extended, multi-purpose life.
And do we get any follow-up? Does the story end there?
No, we get excellent follow-up data. Nearly 3 weeks later, on November 10, 2023, Assistant Manager Watanabe conducted a routine customer satisfaction survey with Mr. Kobayashi.
So he called him up.
He did. And he asked about the tangerines and about the box. The box had fulfilled its primary duty with distinction. It performed admirably, keeping the tangerines fresh for several weeks.
Primary purpose achieved. Check.
But the secondary function is where the story truly deviates from the script. After being emptied, box 28B was repurposed for a truly mundane, almost absurd secondary role.
What was it?
It was used for non-flammable garbage storage in the kitchen.
Wait, hold on. Non-flammable garbage.
That's what the log says.
So this high-tech, precision-folded, 100% recycled fiber structure, engineered by a 1955 industrial cornerstone for the pristine transport of delicate Shizuoka tangerines, ends up
Yes.
holding
What?
used cans, broken pottery, things that won't catch fire.
That is almost a perfect parody of post-industrial utility. Its grand fate is now tied to the daily waste cycles of a private household.
And how did it perform in this new role?
It excelled. The report confirms that it withstood this challenging secondary use without tearing or deformation.
It was strong enough.
Mr. Kobayashi specifically described Box 28B as unusually durable compared to previous tangerine boxes he had used in the past.
So the engineering quality, which was initially intended just to ensure a single, pristine journey, inadvertently created an object capable of surviving multiple demanding purposes.
Its own quality was its ticket to a longer life.
Incredible.
And the Retail Log's own analysis section, written by Watanabe, it draws a very professional conclusion from this.
What does he say?
He says the extended life cycle of 28B highlights potential benefits for packaging design that are aligned with Tokyo's waste reduction goals. In his eyes, this anomaly points toward scalable lessons in product longevity.
He sees a business opportunity, or at least a design lesson.
Exactly. And Watanabe's internal analysis explicitly mentions the strange phenomena he observed earlier, the auditory cues and the structural resistance.
The wrestling and the rigidity.
He says they warrant investigation, possibly pointing, again, to variations in adhesive application or fiberboard density during manufacturing. He's confirming that this box's physical quality was, in his professional opinion, objectively anomalous.
It is different.
So Box 28B served its primary function, it excelled at its secondary function as a garbage holder, and it became a key piece of data confirming the value of robust packaging and the importance of individual consumer practices in extending product life cycles.
It's an isolated example.
A complete outlier, but it's one that sets the stage perfectly for the academic explanation of what objects truly want.
Having meticulously tracked the GC28 series from its engineered birth all the way to this strange extended utility phase,
Holding garbage in a kitchen?
we now have to make a cognitive jump. We're moving to the high-level analysis that synthesizes all of these disparate documents.
Returning to document 5.
A scholarly paper published in 2025, so a full sociological reflection on the GC28's life, written with the benefit of hindsight.
And this analysis comes from a Dr. Akari Tanaka, a respected figure from the Department of Sociology at the University of Tokyo.
Published in the Journal of Material Culture and Societal Anthropology, Volume 42, Issue 3. This paper is what frames the entire preceding narrative with real intellectual rigor.
Her abstract is basically our guiding star for this whole deep dive.
It really is. Dr. Tanaka examines what she calls latent cultural narratives that are embedded in mundane, everyday objects.
And she uses the GC28 container as a specific, perfect case study.
A case study to explore the deep societal tendency to imbue functional items with a life cycle narrative that directly mirrors our own human anxieties and our aspirations for utility, purpose, and fulfillment.
Her introduction is crucial for defining the scope of her argument. She acknowledges the staggering speed at which objects were manufactured, used, and then discarded in our contemporary consumer society.
But then she introduces this paradoxical narrative that we, the observers, project onto these objects. A journey, a desire, a struggle.
She's very careful to draw a precise line, though.
Very. She explicitly states that her study does not argue for literal consciousness in the boxes. She's not saying the boxes are alive.
Right, this isn't science fiction.
No. Instead, she analyzes the purely human propensity to construct these narratives. We do this as a reflection of our own deep-seated anxieties regarding utility and obsolescence.
So the box doesn't feel dread. We project our dread onto the box.
Precisely. And the methodology section of her paper is basically the table of contents for our discussion today.
It confirms our entire deep dive structure. Her qualitative analysis is based on the very same primary and secondary sources we've been examining.
The corporate press release, Document 1, the trade report from the market, Document 2,
The retail worker testimonials about 28B, Document 3.
and critically, the municipal incident report, Document 4, which we haven't even gotten to yet. She's drawing connections across the entire life spectrum of the GC28.
So let's delve into her specific analysis. Section 3.1 is titled, The Narrative of Purpose and Fulfillment.
She starts at the beginning. The corporate narrative in Document 1 assigned a singular primary duty to the box, the transport of tangerines.
That duty is defined as the box's sole reason for existence. It's the moment of its ultimate value.
And the market and retail accounts, documents 2 and 3, they immediately reinforce this.
We heard the worker Kenji Sato describe the boxes as feeling solid and full when they were performing this duty.
And then becoming just empty upon its completion.
Dr. Tanaka argues that this correlation establishes the human projected equation. Fulfillment equals contentment, which is represented by fullness.
And loss of purpose equals existential emptiness.
This is why box 28B is so valuable to her argument.
It's the key. Its unusually durable quality, what the assistant manager called a manufacturing anomaly, allowed it to transcend that single brief purpose.
Its secondary life, holding non-flammable garbage for Mr. Kobayashi, gave it an extension, an honorable second tour of duty.
Dr. Tanaka interprets this secondary use as granting the object unusual narrative satisfaction. It avoided the swift end at the market, and it demonstrated continued utility, which is a key human desire. It proved it was still useful.
Then she moves to analysis 3.2, which is it's absolutely fascinating.
Anxiety of obsolescence and the veteran object.
Yes. The worn, multi-labeled veteran container we heard about in document 2 is used as a tangible symbol of potential longevity. It stands in stark contrast to the rapid-fire disposability of the new tangerine boxes.
But Dr. Tanaka zooms in on the most extreme personification mentioned in that trade report. We need to elaborate on this detail because it is absolutely central to her argument regarding what she calls hollow labor.
You're talking about the pencil box.
The horse-voiced pencil box. This was an old, battered container, its original purpose long faded, whose current job was simply to contain other empty boxes that were being collected for recycling.
The fact that the workers at the market assigned this specific box a hoarse voice suggests a deep weariness, a struggle.
But Dr. Tanaka argues its anxiety stems from its hollow purpose. Its labor is not about bringing essential goods to market, like the tangerine boxes. Its job is merely managing the waste stream of its younger, more purposeful peers.
So its fullness is just the emptiness of others.
Exactly. Dr. Tanaka interprets this as a powerful, unconscious metaphor for hollow or unfulfilling labor in contemporary society. That sense that one's life is spent merely processing the remnants of other people's or other objects' primary purpose. The pencil box exists in a state of existential crisis.
That detail is chilling. The boxes aren't just being recycled. In the minds of the workers, they're experiencing a philosophical dilemma before their end.
Precisely. And this leads us to her final section of analysis, 3.3, which sets up the ultimate narrative conclusion, the climax of dissolution.
She notes that the box's most meaningful fate is found not in the violent industrial incinerator,
which she argues represents a sudden, unfulfilled end,
but in a natural body of water, the Higashiyama Park Pond.
And here's her profound thesis. The box, after nearly a year of enduring, of being exposed to weather, to children's play, to use as storage, it finally achieves a state of perfect, homogeneous fullness.
Ow.
It becomes completely saturated with water and pond sediment.
So it's finally full again.
Yes. And Dr. Tanaka argues that this final act transforms its destruction into ultimate fulfillment. Because the GC-28's original purpose was to be filled, to be solid, to be tight, and to hold its contents. In the pond, it dissolves not merely as anonymous waste, but as an object that has finally, completely, and perfectly achieved its core purported function, to be filled.
It achieves a state of material contentment through complete saturation and integration with its environment.
It transitions from being a container defined by external content, the tangerines, to an object defined by its own internal substance, which is now water and earth. A perfect, final fullness.
The academic synthesis gives the whole journey meaning. Now let's return to the narrative itself and track the physical object to its ultimate extraordinary conclusion.
Let's get to document 4.
We are examining the post-incident report from the Tokyo Parks and Recreation Department, dated November 5, 2024.
So this is over a year after the first GC-28 boxes arrived in Tokyo. A long, long time for a cardboard box to survive.
The report details an event in District 7 Shibuya Ward, specifically focusing on the location of the box's final moments, Higashiyama Park Pond.
This specific location confirms that we are at the end of the line for one of the GC-28 units that survived the market, survived the recycling stream, survived everything.
The background section of this report is critical because it tracks the prolonged degradation of the box leading up to the final incident.
It didn't just appear in the park.
No. Patrol logs from the preceding week noted frequent observation of children from a nearby residential block using a large, worn cardboard box for recreational purposes.
So it had another life after being a garbage
The
can.
very active life. This prolonged, intense usage is what physically conditioned the box for its unique end.
How were they using it?
The box was used as a sled on grassy slopes. You can imagine that would apply immense compression and abrasion to its bottom panels.
Right, smoothing it down, compacting the fibers.
And it was also used as a boat near the pond's perimeter, which would have subjected its lower edges and seems to have repeated partial water exposure.
So it was being toughened and weakened at the same time.
The park wardens noted this activity as a potential littering concern in their logs, which confirms their attention was drawn to this specific object repeatedly.
The very activities that were considered minor disturbances, just children's play, were inadvertently forging a unique case study in material degradation.
Then we come to the incident itself, the evening of November 4th, 2024. The environmental conditions were dramatic.
The report specifies that wind speeds exceeded 40 kilometers per hour.
So a very windy night. The box, which was left unattended near the water's edge after the children went home, was violently caught by these strong gusts.
And blown directly into the pond.
This was not a slow discard, like someone tossing it in. This was a sudden, weather-driven propulsion into its destiny.
And someone saw this happen.
Yes. Warden Shimada witnessed the entire event from approximately 50 meters away, and his testimony provides the first account of the anomalous behavior that sets this box apart.
He reported that the box, despite being highly worn, did not immediately become waterlogged or capsize upon impact.
Which is what you'd expect.
Exactly.
Instead, Shimada reported that it moved with purpose, like a slow barge, drifting toward the center of the pond for several minutes.
Moved with purpose. That phrase is remarkable. It's Warden Shimada unconsciously assigning agency and intention to a degraded, inanimate object in its final minutes.
And the sinking process itself is what truly defies expectation. In typical conditions, porous materials like cardboard, they either capsize due to uneven waterlogging or they just rapidly disintegrate and sink.
But not this one.
Shimada reported that the box remained remarkably upright and level throughout the entire process.
It sank, as he describes it, in a slow, controlled, and perfectly vertical manner.
He used the phrase being deliberately submerged, not swamped.
Wow. And the duration of this process is quantified in the report.
Yes. The entire sinking from the moment of entry to its disappearance beneath the surface took an estimated 4 minutes.
4 minutes, which the report notes is a notably long duration
Yeah.
for saturated cardboard.
The box was not defeated by the water. It succumbed to the fulfillment of the water, just as Dr. Tanaka predicted.
And the next morning, they went to get it.
Morning of November 5, the retrieval operation was initiated. Divers entered the pond and located the box. It was resting perfectly upright on the silty bottom at a depth of 2.5 meters.
So its final resting position supports the warden's observation of its vertical descent.
It does. And the physical description of the retrieved object is the ultimate confirmation of Dr. Tanaka's theory of fulfillment.
Structurally, the box was clearly compromised, split corners, multiple holes, which is consistent with its advanced age and its secondary life as a sled and a boat.
But the key finding was its contents, or lack thereof.
The box was found to be filled with an unusually dense and homogeneous mixture of water and pond sediment with no air pockets evident.
It had achieved total, perfect material fullness.
And one of the divers provided this striking comment that was recorded in the report. It reveals the profound physical transformation the box underwent.
He said it felt like lifting a solid block, not an empty box.
The GC-28, engineered to be full of tangerines, had achieved a final, perfect, heavy fullness composed of the earth and water of the park. It was ultimately disposed of with other organic park waste, completing its integration back into the natural cycle.
The internal analysis section of the Parks and Recreation report, they had to grapple with these unusual observations.
They needed a rational explanation.
The extended buoyancy and the specific vertical sinking method were deemed atypical, defying standard models for porous materials. The fact that the warden's independent reports were so consistent, even if the box's behavior is not scientifically verifiable, was flagged as notable.
So what was their official opinion?
The unit's professional opinion provided the most rational physical explanation, rooted entirely in the box's history of misuse. They concluded that the prolonged use as a play object,
The sledding and the boating.
altered its physical state. This usage compressed the fibers and the high-adhesion tape corners, which initially impeded rapid water intake.
So the very thing that made it a good sled made it sink slowly.
Exactly. This compression caused the extended buoyancy and the observed slow, controlled sinking. The children, by misusing the box, had inadvertently extended its life and conditioned it for its unique final act.
A beautiful accidental consequence.
The report concludes with official, bureaucratic recommendations. Increased signage regarding littering and brief patrol wardens on the variable sinking characteristics of degraded materials to improve future incident reporting accuracy.
Of course.
And no further action was needed regarding this specific extraordinary item. The paper trail ends there. The box's journey is complete. So, we have completed the journey of the GC-28 container. From its precision-engineered berth in Yokohama, announced on October 15, 2023, where its singular purpose was enshrined in a corporate press release.
We tracked its struggle against immediate obsolescence in the chaos of the wholesale market.
Its improbable survival is a robust secondary container for non-slammable garbage and Stigaya, our hero, number 28B.
Its transformation into a child's plaything, a sled, and a boat.
And its ultimate dramatic 4-minute dissolution in the Higashiyama Park Pond on November 4, 2024.
And if we use Dr. Tanaka's academic synthesis as our final framework, we can see that every single step of this journey reflects a latent human narrative.
The anxiety of having a single fleeting purpose,
The desire for continued utility.
and the ultimate search for a meaningful end are all projected onto this silent, inanimate journey. The box, born for a brief moment of perfection, fought for a longer utility and achieved what the workers and the observers, and even we, implicitly, yearn for. A spectacular, meaningful end.
That final moment in the pond is the powerful climax. It was not a tragedy. It avoided being violently consumed by the industrial fire or anonymously crushed by a baler.
No. Instead, it was a slow, deliberate submersion where it achieved a state of homogeneous, heavy fullness, becoming one with the earth and water.
Within the constructed narrative that we humans project onto objects, this was truly a triumphant conclusion to its quest.
This raises a critical question then, an important thought for you, the listener, to carry forward.
If we find such profound purpose, such narrative satisfaction, and even fulfillment in the brief, anonymous life of a disposable container, if we invest so much of our own existential energy into the fate of a cardboard box, what does that truly say about our own measures of utility, about our own labor?
And about our deep, abiding desire for a meaningful end to our own, quote, single-use existence.
Perhaps the most important thing we can learn is that every single object we encounter every day has a hidden, profound narrative if we only stop and look closely enough.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the extraordinary, well-documented life of the GC-28 container.
Until next time.